Someone is trying to control you right now, not with force, not with threats, with words, with silence, with that subtle shift in tone that makes you question yourself, apologize when you did nothing wrong, back down when you were right. And here's what most people don't realize. The manipulator doesn't need you to agree. They just need you to react. Because the moment you react, they've got you. They're steering now. You're dancing to music you can't even hear. But what if you had a way to stop them cold? Not by arguing, not by fighting back, not by becoming manipulative yourself, but by saying something so disarming, so unexpected, that their entire strategy collapses on contact. That's what Stoic philosophy is actually for. Not sitting in a cave meditating, not pretending problems don't exist. It's a 2,000-year-old system for maintaining your power when someone is actively trying to steal it. Today, I'm giving you 5 phrases. Each one is rooted in the actual writings of Marcus Aurelius, Epictetus, and Seneca. Each one has been tested in real confrontations, boardrooms, breakups, family dinners, workplace ambushes. And each one does the same thing. It shuts down the manipulation without you losing your dignity, your temper, or your edge. The last one? It's the nuclear option. Use it when nothing else works. Let's begin. I don't have an opinion on that yet. Simple. Almost too simple. But let me tell you why this destroys manipulators. Manipulators depend on urgency. They need you to respond now. They create artificial pressure. I need to know today. Everyone else already agreed. You're making this harder than it needs to be. Why? Because when you're rushed, you don't think. You react. And your reaction is their raw material. Marcus Aurelius wrote this in Meditations. You always own the option of having no opinion. He didn't say you should have no opinions. He said you own the option. It's a choice, and it's a weapon. When someone pushes you to commit before you're ready. When they frame the situation so you look indecisive if you pause. When they demand your stance on something they've just sprung on you, you say this, calmly, not as a question, as a statement of fact. I don't have an opinion on that yet. Watch what happens. The manipulator's script just broke. They had a counter-argument ready for whatever you said. They had a trap set for your yes, your no, your hesitation. But they have nothing for this. Because you didn't step into the ring, you didn't take the bait. Epictetus said, first say to yourself what you would be, and then do what you have to do. Notice the order. First decide, then act. The manipulator wants to flip that. They want your action, your words, your commitment, your emotional spike before you decided anything. This phrase restores the correct order. Here's a real scenario. Someone at work says, so you're fine with taking on this extra project, right? The team really needs someone who can handle it. Translation, they've already decided for you. They're using social pressure, the team, someone who can handle it, to make saying no feel like admitting weakness. I don't have an opinion on that yet. Now they have to wait. Now they have to explain. Now the pressure is back on them. And while they scramble, you're actually thinking. You're deciding on your terms, in your time, with your full mind intact. The manipulator hates this. They want your hot response, not your cool consideration. Give them coolness. It's kryptonite. That might be true. What would you like me to do about it? This one is Seneca's influence, though he never phrased it exactly this way. Seneca wrote extensively about how people use complaints, accusations, and dramatic statements to provoke emotional labor from others. They drop a problem at your feet and wait for you to pick it up, solve it, apologize for it, or fight about it. The phrase has 2 parts, and both matter. First, that might be true. You're not agreeing. You're not disagreeing. You're acknowledging possibility without accepting responsibility. This is classic Stoic indifference to things outside your control. The manipulator's accusation, their framing, their interpretation. These are their thoughts. You don't need to validate or destroy them. You can simply let them exist without letting them land on you. Marcus Aurelius. It is not events that disturb people, it is their judgments concerning them. The manipulator's judgment is their own. You don't have to carry it. Second part. What would you like me to do about it? This is the redirect, and it's brutal in its politeness, because here's what most manipulators never expect: to be asked for specifics. They traffic in vagueness. You never support me. You don't care about this team. Something feels off about your attitude. These are designed to make you defensive, to make you list all the ways you do care, to make you prove yourself. Don't prove yourself. Ask them to be specific. What would you like me to do about it? Now they have to think. Now they have to own their manipulation. If they say, I want you to apologize, you can ask, for what specifically? If they say, I want you to change your attitude, you can ask, what behavior specifically? If they can't answer, the manipulation is exposed. If they can answer, you now have something concrete to address, or refuse to address on rational grounds, not emotional ones. Seneca warned about people who prefer to complain rather than to remedy. This phrase forces the choice. Are they here to solve something or just to make you feel bad? Their answer will tell you everything. Use this when someone throws vague criticism, emotional blackmail, or guilt trips. It sounds cooperative. It is cooperative with reality, not with their game. I hear you. I'm going to sit with that before I respond. This is the most underrated phrase in conflict. It sounds like weakness to people who don't understand power. It is actually the opposite. Epictetus, no man is free who is not master of himself. And what is mastery? Not explosive comebacks, not witty destruction. The ability to choose your timing, the ability to say, I will not be rushed by your urgency. I will not be pulled into your emotional tempo. I move at my own pace. Manipulators create false deadlines. They want your response while you're still stung, still surprised, still processing. They know that your first reaction is your worst reaction, your most defensive, your most apologetic, your most easily twisted. I hear you. I'm going to sit with that before I respond. You have acknowledged them without surrendering to them. You have heard them without being captured by them. And you have declared calmly, unapologetically, that your response will come from deliberation, not reflex. This phrase does something else too. It signals to everyone watching, and someone is always watching, that you are not reactive. You are not a puppet. You are someone who thinks before speaking, who respects their own words enough to weigh them. That reputation alone makes future manipulators hesitate. Marcus Aurelius, again, if it is not right, do not do it. If it is not true, do not say it. But how do you know what's right and true in the heat of the moment? You don't. You need space. You need stillness. This phrase buys you that space. The manipulator will push back. Why do you need time? It's not complicated. Are you trying to avoid this? Now you're making me feel like my feelings don't matter. Notice, they are now complaining about your process, not the original issue. They've lost the high ground. They're whining about being denied immediate gratification. Stay calm. Repeat if needed. I hear you. I'm going to sit with that before I respond. Then actually do it. Walk away. Think. Consult your principles. Come back with something they can't twist. The pause is the power. I don't negotiate with my values. This is the boundary phrase. The hard line. The moment you stop being flexible and start being immovable. Not every situation calls for this. Use it when someone is pressuring you to compromise something core: your integrity, your family, your health, your word, your safety. When the manipulation has escalated from social games to actual moral pressure, Marcus Aurelius, waste no more time arguing about what a good man should be. Be one. This phrase is the embodiment of that. You are not arguing anymore. You are being. Here's how manipulators frame it. Everyone bends the rules sometimes. You're being inflexible. This is how the real world works. Don't you trust me? I thought you cared about this relationship. Every one of these is designed to make your values feel like obstacles, like stubbornness, like a failure to adapt. They want you to see your principles as a problem to solve. I don't negotiate with my values. You are not asking them to understand. You are not asking them to agree. You are stating a fact about your internal architecture. This is who I am. This is how I operate. The conversation about whether I'll compromise this is over before it started. Seneca wrote, "He who is brave is free." This is that freedom. The freedom of having already decided who you are, so you don't have to re-decide under pressure. The manipulator is trying to make you choose between their approval and your principles. This phrase removes the choice. There is no choice. The principles stay. It sounds severe. It is severe, but notice you are not attacking them. You are not calling them names. You are simply declaring your own non-negotiables. If they respect that, the conversation can move to productive ground. If they don't, you just learned exactly who you're dealing with, and that information is worth more than their approval. Use this sparingly, but when you use it, mean it completely. Half measures here destroy your credibility. I see what you're doing. This conversation is over. The nuclear option. The last resort. The phrase you use when the manipulation isn't subtle anymore. It's overt, it's exhausting, and it's time to end the engagement entirely. Marcus Aurelius, the best revenge is to be unlike him who performed the injury. But sometimes, before you can be unlike them, you need to stop being with them. You need to leave the field. Most people never use this phrase because they fear confrontation. They fear being seen as rude, as dramatic, as unable to handle conflict. So they stay, they engage, they argue with the manipulator on the manipulator's terms, in the manipulator's frame, by the manipulator's rules, and they lose over and over because those rules were designed for them to lose. I see what you're doing. 5 words. You have named the game. You have made it visible. You have pulled the manipulation out of the shadows and into the light. And the moment you do that, the manipulator has 2 options: deny it awkwardly or escalate openly. Either way, their cover is blown. This conversation is over. Not "I think we should take a break." Not "maybe we can revisit this later." Not "I'm sorry, but I have to go." Those leave doors open. Those invite pursuit. Those sound like you're asking permission to leave. This conversation is over is a statement of fact. You are informing them of a reality, not requesting their agreement. Epictetus, it is better to die of hunger having lived without grief and fear than to live with a troubled spirit amid abundance. He wasn't talking about physical hunger. He was talking about the cost of staying in toxic spaces, the cost of continuing conversations that poison you, the cost of being polite to people who are weaponizing your politeness against you. This phrase is your exit. It is your declaration that your peace is not available for negotiation. It is your refusal to play, to perform, to prove, to persuade, to participate in a rigged game. Use it when the manipulator has been explicitly caught and keeps pushing. You've used the other phrases and they've escalated instead of retreated. Your emotional or physical safety is being compromised. You decided this relationship, this job, this situation is no longer worth your energy. After you say it, leave. Physically leave. Hang up. Close the door. Block the number. Do not stay for their reaction. Do not stay to see if they understand. Their understanding is not your responsibility. Your exit is. 5 phrases. Each one is a tool. Each one is a shield. Each one is rooted in the actual practice of Stoicism, not the Instagram version, not the motivational poster version, but the hard, practical, street-level philosophy that Roman emperors and enslaved teachers used to survive impossible situations. But here's the thing about tools. They don't work in the drawer. You have to practice them, say them out loud, write them down, role-play them with a friend. Make them familiar enough that when the moment comes, and it will come, probably sooner than you think, they rise up naturally, without you having to think. The manipulator's entire strategy depends on you being surprised, on you being unprepared, on you reacting from instinct rather than principle. These phrases turn your principles into instinct. They make your preparation invisible to everyone except you. Stoicism isn't about being emotionless. It's about being unmoved by manipulation. It's about keeping your center when someone is actively trying to push you off balance. You have that center. These phrases help you keep it. If this resonated, you know what to do. And if you're in a situation right now where you need one of these, use it today. Don't wait. The manipulator is already practicing. It's time you did too.